Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Timeless Podcast, a new podcast about Doctor Who, sci-fi, and other films. Joining me, as you heard, is my co-host George Tucker. You may know him from like Untempered Productions. I'm going to put this all over Twitter, and if my YouTube subscribers will come over, which, by the way, I've somehow, even though I've only done 2 videos recently, have gained 5 subs, which for me is a lot, considering that's like a quarter of my audience. So thank you.
Deuce, mate.
Thank you. But like,
how have you done that?
I don't know. You said the content was pretty good, so.
Yeah, it is very good. I'm quite enjoying your content at the moment.
And yeah, the reason that there's not been any content on the Doctor Who review front is because I've been trying to set up this. And
yeah.
The equipment. Normally, it's going to be a lot easier to film these. We're currently in the same room, so
yeah,
you know, just setting things up. But George, how's your week been, buddy?
Basically, I've not really been doing much for the last couple of weeks. I've been enjoying the new series of Doctor Who. Actually enjoying it. I think you said earlier to me that this is the first time in a couple of years that we've genuinely been excited each time a new episode of Doctor Who comes out, because this series so far has been a cracker. It really has.
I mean, like, if you look back at the previous series, like Series 9 for me, although I was excited at the scope of it, because obviously the Series 9 was really, very kicked into gear with the budget going better and stuff. Yeah. And we had that massive Dalek 2-parter, which Moffat screwed up ridiculously. And I'm happy they've gone back on that and said the Daleks are
I liked Capaldi's midlife crisis.
No. I'm not saying that. It's more the Dalek not being really evil.
It's the casing.
That genuinely, like, that was levels of Moffat. Stop.
Which we'll get into this a bit more later, but Chris Chibnall started to get a bit big for his boots.
I disagree. Yeah, I think. Do you know what? We'll get into it later, but I disagree. But no, I think today we've got some not so brilliant news to talk about. Unfortunately, we're filming this on Tuesday, by the way. So
yeah, we're filming this on Tuesday, the 28th of January.
It will be out on a Friday. Of course, you're listening to us now. But we got some news to talk about. I've got a bit of merch that I picked up this week that I want to have a little chat about, and then we'll get into the episode and stuff. And we'll go on to that. But should we talk about some news? I think we should start from the positive.
Yeah.
I think so, because this is the first bit of news of the podcast, and then we can have a long chat about the person that we want to have a chat about. But anyway, let's get into some figures, because that's
okay.
Fun.
I like it. I like a good figure.
So first of all, I'll talk about.
Yeah, go on.
Not the ones by character options though, because they're bloody shit.
Yeah, I want McFarlane Figures to do a bunch of Doctor Who figures, because I want to make some good Doctor Who stop motion animations. All right. So actually, because I'm annoyed at Doctor Who figures, they released the Capaldi figure. They stopped doing the I was about to swear. They stopped. I'm really angry about this. Basically, if you didn't know, I'm an animator, and I use action figures to do stop motion animations. And I would absolutely love to make more Doctor Who stop motions, but the figures are so limiting in the way that they're posed. So
also, I don't know whether you remember this. This might mean nothing to you, but do you remember when they started bringing out a really good range? They had like Tennant in the Tux, and it was back to the regular size. Yeah. And now they've gone back to the 3.75. Basically, have you seen the new images of the new figures?
Yeah, I have.
They're dreadful.
Yeah, they look bad, don't they?
Because the thing is, with such a small face, you can't make the characters. Well, you can do a Dalek, all right. The Dalek looks like a Dalek, but you can't that's not Bradley Walsh.
No. Yeah. So basically, they released, like you say, they went back to their 5-inch roots for Capaldi's, for Series 10.
Yeah.
And it was 2 Capaldi figures, a Bill Potts figure, and a Tennant in a Tux. You actually gave me the Tennant in a Tux figure. Thank you very much. That one, fantastic. Basically, what they do is, for some reason, character options to keep on thinking it's a good idea to add a point of posability by taking one away. So what they did with the Peter Capaldi figure, they made it so that his arms could come out at a 90-degree angle. And then that was fantastic, because it meant that you could pose him in a bunch of different ways. The only thing that was holding him back was his neck joint, was his head joint, because his neck could only look left and right rather than up and down. Then they released the Jodie Whittaker figure for Series 11 and gave her a neck joint so that she could look up and down, but took away the arm joint. Why? I'd happily pay an extra couple of quid to get a decent action figure of a character whom I would be able to make so many good stories of. But no, they don't. So, character options, screw you, make some good content for us, make some good merch, And no, we don't want another plushy Tom Baker that says jelly babies every 10 seconds when you squeeze it. We want actual good Doctor Who action figures. Please release another big old box of every single Doctor, but with decent posability, and like maybe throw in a couple of TARDIS playset things, because those are really good.
Do you know what? We're talking about figures that burn the bacon. For me, I think pop figures are genuinely dreadful. I genuinely think they are some of the most useless pieces of tosh.
See,
no, because hear me out, right?
Yeah.
They mass produce these buggers, but there's no originality to them.
No, they all look the same.
And it annoys me, and that's why I don't know whether you remember that, but I still am. So I'm a big fan of Titan figures.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Like they're not exactly accurate, but they're different. They have their own design. They're not trying to be accurate, unlike the character options ones, which appear to be.
On one hell of a
and the issue is fine. Though, it's podcast. The issue is that for me, pop vinyls, they're not trying to be accurate, but they're also not trying to be different. They're just trying to mass.
They're all exactly the same. The only reason I'd buy a pop figure is if they were on sale, like we just saw. We went to a shop and they had them for like £3.50, and I was almost going to buy one if they had a Doctor Who one, but they didn't, so I didn't. The only pop figures I own have been gifted to me. I've never gone out and bought a pop figure for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really the issue people. I mean, the BBC are worried about the sales of Doctor Who figures. If you change from character options to some, I'm not very good with toy manufacturers.
To Hasbro.
Yeah.
The guys who make the Marvel Legends figures that have like huge amounts of posability. Yes, their figures are like £22, but they're genuinely worth it, and you can do so much with them. And also, even if you're just in it for posing and comic book art, you can. And also, I think the issue is that character options, because they've got lazy. Let's be honest, they use a lot of reprints, and I think it's been. Wait, I like B&M. B&M, fantastic for Doctor Who figures. Genuinely.
Yeah, genuinely.
They're really cheap and they're reasonably good.
But no, welcome to the Timeless Podcast, where we just had to go at figures for the first 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, now should we get into proper viewing figures?
Actual viewing figures, yes. Yes.
Doctor Who Series 12. And mate, a lot of people have been worried on the internet. They've been worried. People have been saying the viewing figures are down. However, I've got some good news. So, first of all, let's talk about Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror.
I was going to say, should we go through a couple of the last weeks?
Well, I was going to go through the last week's Tesla episode and this episode, because we got the 7-day consolidated figures for Tesla. So, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror on the overnight's got 4.04 million. With the consolidated figures, it's up to 5.20 million.
That's not bad.
And it made it, I believe, the 13th most watched BBC show for the week, and overall 24th. When you put that into consideration, at the top of the week, it was called The Midwife on 7.23. That's what I've got here. So when you put the fact that Doctor Who is only 2 million down on the highest for the week, that isn't that bad.
It's not bad at all.
I think, and also, overall, in the overnight, Doctor Who isn't beating Dancing on Ice. But in the 7-day figures, Doctor Who is beating Dancing, and it's getting more viewers. It's only slight, but if you're beating your main competitor,
of course,
then you've done the job. But now we've got overnight figures for Fugitive of the Judoon, up from last week. It's up on the last 2 episodes, actually. Yep. Episode 3, Orphan 55. We won't go there.
Benny! Benny!
Orphan 55 in the overnight.
We're getting Benny. Shut up. Sacrifice yourself already. Thanks. How fast can you run? It's dumb. Vilma. Sorry.
Orphan 55 in the overnight got 4.19 million, and as I said before, Tesla got 4.04. This episode got an average of 4.21.
That's not bad.
Which isn't bad, and it is predicted to be just under 6 million. I think it might get even more.
Because there were some... This episode was mental. If you haven't seen it, this is where it's going to start getting spoilery.
So we're going to quickly talk about another bit of news. If you haven't heard of it, it's a bit of sad news. And it actually, it was
Slow down a bit, mate. You sound like you're going to zoom past it.
It was quite weird, because we were literally talking... I have the Series 26 collection box, and we were just talking about...
I was reading the back.
But it turns out the actor and game show host Nicholas Parsons has died at the age of 96.
And it was literally, I was reading out the names on the back of the box. I said, Nicholas Parsons. And then Alex said, mate, someone's died. Oh, no, it was someone who is in Henrik as well.
Fenric,
not Henrik. What am I talking about? Yeah, so that was really mental. That's really sad.
So yeah, just for you guys.
What was it, 96?
He was 96 years old, yes.
Blimey, he did good.
So, just to let you guys know, he was known for playing Reverend Wainwright in that episode. And you know what? I think to be a part of the last series of Sylvester McCoy, which I haven't seen every episode, I've seen 2 so far. I've seen Ghostlight and I've seen Fenric.
We should watch the Bible in a bit.
We can do. After we're done with this. Not during the podcast.
Could you imagine? Watch along!
See you guys later. We could do those down the line.
Yeah, that would be good.
But, like, commentaries, but with us. But no, he also hosted BBC Radio's panel game called Just a Minute. And, you know, I think to be a part of a great... You haven't seen Fenric, have you?
I haven't, no.
So we'll have to get to reviewing that one eventually. But I think, you know...
Is that the one with Brian Blessed?
It might be. I don't know.
It's a big bloke with a beard.
I thought Brian Blessed was in 5 Doctors.
Oh, I think he might have been, yeah. No, it wasn't.
Isn't he not the god dude from Gallifrey at the end? He's like...
Possibly, actually, yeah.
I thought... maybe I don't know who Brian Blessed actually is.
Remember.
But I suppose he's in 5 Doctors. But no, I mean, just condolences to Nicholas Parson and his family and all his friends and stuff. And yeah, he was part of one of the best Doctor Who serials, in my opinion. And,
yeah?
Yeah, it's really good. It's one of Syl's best. I think you should check it out.
I will.
As I said, condolences to the family. And yeah, he will not be forgot within the Who community, that's for sure. Now then,
not this one at least.
Let's move on to a bit of merchandise. We've
already talked about it a little bit.
We'll talk about it a little bit, but this week the season 26 box set of the Doctor Who collection.
And can I be the first to say, it's sexy. It's super good looking.
Yeah, the artistry binding. You can tell he's a Who fan, and
it's so nice. It's so good.
I kind of wish you got it now, didn't you?
I do.
It's still in one
of
a
bunch of episodes that I don't have as well.
It's in one of our well-known retailers.
But
HMV.
Is it actually in HMV at the moment?
Yeah.
Do I have the money to buy it?
Don't know.
I already own Survival, and there's only 3 other episodes.
Yeah, but it's Blu-ray, though, isn't it? It's better quality. There's great. There's like a.
But the rest of my collection's on DVD, except the TV movie. I know you have a bunch of DVDs as well, but I'd prefer to keep on collecting the DVDs.
Well, yeah, when you do your thing. But no, I just love these sets. They when the BBC started pumping them out a bit faster, because originally they just released that Tom Baker one as first series, which I didn't pick up because I didn't know what these sets were going to be like. And then
Robot's a cracking episode.
I love Robot. I love Genesis.
Genesis is so good. Genesis was the first ever episode of classic Doctor Who I watched.
5 Doctors actually was mine.
Really?
So yeah. We'll get to those in a bit, but no, I think there was a really good. I was talking about this earlier. There's a really good documentary about John Nathan Turner.
Yeah.
Who, if you don't know, for everyone listening, was the showrunner of Doctor Who from the last series of Tom Baker to the very end, and it's such an interesting.
That's a long while, isn't it?
He wanted to leave, didn't he?
Yeah, but
I was telling him that, and they wouldn't let him leave, and then they essentially kicked him to the curb. So it was a difficult time, and I think it was such an interesting documentary. I think
didn't even get him back for K9 and Company.
Never seen it.
Neither have I.
But I think it's one of those things where you can't. I think it's one of those things on paper. Watching a documentary about a producer is quite boring, and then you watch it and you get so engrossed in the story and how much he cared for the show.
I like to think. And it's like an X Factor sob story.
And no, they don't hold back. Like even in some of his worst, moments as well. They talk about some of his stuff that he shouldn't have been doing as well. So I think it's a really interesting thing, and I think you should check it out. It's also got Beyond the Sofa.
Nice. It's got Jodie Whittaker in it, hasn't it?
It's got Jodie Whittaker's 2 writers from Jodie Whittaker. It's got the guy that wrote Kablam, I believe.
Kablam's so good.
He's writing next week's episode.
Kablam is really nice. Kablam, one of the best episodes of Series 10.
Along with Rosa and Demons of the Punjab for me. I know you weren't a fan of Demons. We might need to revisit that.
We'll revisit like every episode on podcast.
Yes.
This is going to be the long haul. This is what's going to keep us in contact in uni.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, I just will say it's a beautiful set. Pick it up where you can now, because literally, even the set just went the Colin Baker one's now on Amazon for 120 quid. You cannot pick.
You're joking.
You cannot. People buy these and put them on eBay for like 500 quid. So you've got to pick them up while they're here. You're not going to get them again. So I think on that box set, we'll talk about next. If you do get it, we'll talk about more next week and see what you think of the box set. I would have seen a few more eps on it then as well. Before we get into future, should we actually give our opinion on the story so far. So
okay, so I'll go first.
Yeah.
Spyfall 1 and 2, Master, which was genuinely very, very good. Yeah. Loved the new casting of the Master.
So the one's brilliant.
Loved the fact that the Master was dressed as a Nazi at one point. Obviously, I'm not
by the way, people were like, he shouldn't be a Nazi. He's not blonde and white.
It was very funny when Jodie Whittaker was like, how exactly did you do this?
Also, I mean, I don't want to get like all up your history, but the Nazis weren't just blonde white men. There were some other Indian and other people from different descents that Hitler liked, and he would make them. But he had to like them, obviously, because he was an idiot.
I think he does actually specify that he is cloaking his real appearance from...
Yeah, of course, but people ignore that because they like their own narrative and they hate the Doctor Who because it's woke now. But yeah, I hate people. But no, for me, I think Spyfall 1 and 2, brilliant. Second part, better than the first. I think it matched what Chibnall wants to do with this show brilliantly. It was entertaining for people like us, but it was also educational for the kids. You know, having Ada Lovelace in there, the first person that created the computer. Noet Niet Khan, who was a brilliant, she was a brilliant spy for the English. And it also brought the whole Gallifrey thing into it, which is blown out of proportion.
We saw the Doctor on Gallifrey for the first time since Hellbent. Yay.
Ugh, Hellbent.
I quite liked it.
I know. We have to watch these episodes that we don't like and see what we think. But
we did for the old podcast.
Oh, we did, yeah.
And fun. You said it wasn't as bad as you thought it was.
Yeah. Oh, it's just Clara. I mean, no.
Clara.
At Orphan 55, I'll go first because I have a much stronger opinion on this. I think the central premise is okay.
Yes.
I think it was overstuffed. There was 11 main characters. They brought in James Buckley. What a waste.
Yes, definitely. His son was better.
What is it with the BBC and wasting special guest
Lee
stars?
Mack.
Living Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry got killed.
Yeah, he got killed. Like they used Lenny Henry. Well, we'll give him credit there.
Yes, Lenny Henry was very good.
Barton was very good. But I don't know. I thought it was overstaffed, and I thought it was too preachy at the end. I mean, I like the message of global warming because it is real. But I didn't think it needed to be. It could have been delivered in such a better way. I think for me, rather than the Doctor telling them, essentially looking down the camera and going, "You guys need to sort stuff out." I think it could have been done in a much better, like the delivery.
It was a brilliant announcement. That it was like, oh my god, Orphan 55 is Earth in the future. And actually, okay, that leads on to something else. Alternate timeline.
But we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to
later.
See what we mean.
But for me, I think as well, the dregs, although they looked cool, they did absolutely nothing on screen. I think that was down to the prosthetic, though.
I honestly thought that they were, when I saw the Next Time trailer in the previous episode, I genuinely thought they were Weavers from Torchwood.
Yeah.
They looked very similar.
But I don't really mind the similarity because I think the issue is that the thing about I was called the Weavers, the dregs, were that they were style of a substance. They are the literal definition of let's make these look cool. However, they kill Benny. Benny! They don't kill Benny, but they take Benny and they off screen. But the director got around that very well in the first few moments, because obviously they were just shot in the dark and it was quick slap. As soon as you see them, you go, they look badass, and then they do nothing. And I don't mind that the Doctor got told to shut up by the device. I think that's a little cool meta joke for everyone that thinks she talks way too much, which she sort of does, but that's always been the Doctor's thing, isn't it? Of course. So, but no, Orphan 55 didn't work for me, but it worked a bit more for you, I think. I think you weren't as harsh on it.
Wasn't as harsh on it. I thought it was a good episode.
What do you see different to me? Because I think all the problems that I have are also your problems. I don't think they matter to you as much.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter to me as much. First of all, the memes that have come out of this episode are fantastic. Yeah. Like the entire bringing Benny back. Where's Benny? Vilma being like Benny every 10 seconds. Fantastic. So, main problem with this episode was that the old lady who was playing Vilma wasn't very believable,
and it was overstuffed.
And it was definitely there was a too big of a. Sometimes a big cast can help, like Midnight.
Yeah, but that needs to be companion light for me, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So companionless but big cast of new people.
Like imagine Planet of the Dead, although it's not a great episode for me. I enjoy it for what it is. It's an Easter special and it's not much of it. And it's got Lee Evans, who I think is one of my favourite comedians.
Blimey!
But that sort of thing works because there wasn't too many. I mean, obviously Christina was the main companion-ish of that episode. But the thing about Midnight, again, that works because it's a whole host of characters. But when you already have 3 companions, add on 8 guest cast, it just doesn't work for me. Unfortunately,
it was very much
that lion thing. That cat lady looked dreadful.
Yes.
Do you think Chibnall, when they were coming up with the designs for this episode, was like, we can get off the popularity of cats, and then he looked at the box office and went, shit.
Maybe. Maybe.
But no, let's move on to an episode. I think I'm actually.
I didn't even give my opinion on this bloody episode.
Oh yeah. So I
just
to give a score ranking at the minute, I'd probably say 9 for Spyfall Part 1 and 2 together, and then a 6 for Orphan 55.
I give same Spyfall. Orphan 55 gets a 7 from me, just because I don't think it was that bad. I think it was a good, enjoyable episode, and I was actually I was enjoying it. It's better than how I felt with half of Series 11.
Oh really?
Yes, 100%.
Sheesh.
Series 11 had me looking at my phone every 10 seconds, which I've never had to do with Doctor Who.
There are
except Series 8.
There are a few episodes. The one that annoys me the most actually is Arachnids and New Cat. I will never rewatch that.
I think I might.
Until we do it for the podcast, I'm never going to rewatch that, and I probably won't watch it again afterwards.
There's still a spider left in that flat.
Yeah.
You know, because she uses like shaving foam.
Anyway, let's go on to the episode which
to spray around the door and then just leaves them there. Also, Donald Trump was shooting the spiders, and the Doctor's like, "No, what are you doing? Don't shoot them.
Kill them slowly.
Just kill them slowly by locking them in a secure room with thousands of others of their species that only one will survive and eat the rest." And end up severely injured. And
I think the next episode of the series we're very different. I think I really enjoyed this one, but you just thought it was okay, Gabe.
Yeah.
Is that right to say? You thought
no,
Nikola Tesla's Not a Terror was just good?
No, I thought it was good. I thought it was a cracking episode.
Is it your least favourite of the series?
No. Orphan 55 is my least favourite of the series. But so far it's not been a bad series for me. I think that the main storyline was pushed to the side for Nikola Tesla.
I think Nikola Tesla is the main storyline.
No, it's not. It's about the alien things.
The
Skithera, Rani Chandra.
She was really good, by the way.
She was really great, yeah. I felt like they went, oh, this alien thing's happening, but let's go to Tesla's lab. Oh, this thing's happening, but let's go and see Tesla's other lab. Oh, this thing's happening? Nikola Tesla. It's like, stop. Focus on some alien goodness. We don't need,
okay.
The best historic episodes for me are the ones like Vincent and the Doctor or Shakespeare Code.
I'm sorry. Vincent and the Doctor does not focus on the Grafeus whatsoever.
Yes, it does. There's right. All I'm saying is that the. Okay, let me. Okay,
finish. I'll make an argument with you.
Let me finish. All I'm saying is that episodes like Shakespeare Code and Vincent and the Doctor, because they incorporate the historic subject in a way that means that they're going to help, basically. Yep. So Shakespeare Code, it was his words and his wisdom that saved the world from the Carrionites, and he was also not in every single scene, whereas Tesla in this one was in pretty much every single scene. He didn't really contribute to anything that the Doctor was doing. The Doctor ended up just saving the day. In Vincent and the Doctor, Vincent was the only one who could see the Grafeus, and also there were the scenes where the Doctor was trying to figure out what the Grafeus was, which is fine.
I'll agree with you on that point. However, the story with Tesla and the Skithera story not matching up, I disagree with completely.
Go on.
Because the reason that Tesla's there is because the Skithera want Tesla, and it's all about Tesla realising his brilliance. It's another Vincent story, really, for me, where Vincent didn't know his brilliance, the Doctor knows brilliance, and in this episode, the Doctor knew it as well, but no one's telling Tesla how brilliant he is and how smart he's going to be. And for me, it's not on the same level as Vincent and the Doctor, because it's not as gut-punching. However, the story is all about how good Tesla is and how good his ideas are. He's just too early on in the timeline.
That's not the story, that's a sub-story, that's a subplot. The main story for Doctor Who should be sci-fi based.
The main story for the Skithera is they want Tesla to save
their
ship. Yeah,
but that's the main story for the aliens, not for the episode itself.
I think
the episode itself, its main story should be the fact that what are they called? Skithera. The Skithera. There should be that they are going about terrorizing things, and Tesla is there.
Okay, I disagree. I like a bit when
it shouldn't be Tesla is here and also there are
I
aliens.
like it when the history part is more important sometimes. I like a little bit.
Well, I just like a nice blend, you know.
Okay. Well, what would you give out of 10?
7.5.
I only give it 8. So maybe we don't disagree with that, but I don't love it. I just don't. I think you're more nitpicky than I am on that one.
Yeah, I think that it would be better.
Yeah.
Just with more focus on the Doctor Who aspect.
So now on to episode 5 of the series. It premiered on last Sunday, and it was written by Vinay Patel and Chris Chibnall. At the time, it was only meant to be written by Vinay Patel. However, Chris Chibnall got added on late, and that worried me because I really enjoyed Demons of the Punjab last year. I know you weren't a fan.
Yeah.
But because it's one of those episodes where the sci-fi took a back seat, maybe, and that's not for you.
Also, the alien ended up just being like not evil.
But that didn't happen this week, thankfully.
Yes.
And it was directed by Nina Manzoor, who was, as we agreed earlier, she was brilliant.
Yeah.
In the last week, and this is her last episode for the series. It stars our regulars, so Jodie Whittaker, Bradley Walsh, Tosin Cole, and Mandip Gill. And I think we should just get into it. For me, I love a good open. One thing the series has done well for me, and I think we've said this before when we were going back, is that you were saying like the prologue, and I think it worked well. And even with the foreshadowing, which we'll get into later, we didn't mention that earlier. How good the foreshadowing is.
Yes, because it was the type of foreshadowing that you don't realise until you watch it back.
Yes.
I think that's the best way of putting it.
And I think the issue with Jodie Whittaker is...
Whittaker!
Yes, what happened?
I think the problem with Jodie Whittaker...
So sorry. The issue with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor for me is that she's quite loud, and sometimes when she's at the start of the story, it just like I can't get involved.
Yeah.
So I really like the fact that it focused on Ruth as a character. I thought she was quite engaging actually. You cared for her straight away. She seemed really nice. She was like talking to the ducks and stuff, and she's a tour guide. And I think it's really cool. It gets interrupted though very quickly as the Judoon.
Nope.
So obviously it gets interrupted quite quickly, doesn't it? When the Judoon, they decide that they need to. Do they close off Gloucester? Is that correct?
Yeah. So they put like a force field around Gloucester, which isn't allowed because they don't have jurisdiction on Earth.
Yes. And that means that they're after a fugitive.
Yeah.
But before then, this is all I've got right now. I've wrote down the dossier. Because
he was a good character. What was it? All Ears Alan.
All Ears Alan. I think it's brilliant writing. There's one good thing again that Chibnall is really good at. It's writing really cool side characters.
Yes.
In mostly every episode, even last series, I can name someone that I was like, they were cool.
They were a cool side character.
It was what was her name? Grace in The Woman Who Fell to Earth. I thought it was brilliant. Yeah. And then as we move on to the series, we have those two from Ghost Monument. I thought they were both fine.
Yeah, they were okay. They
but obviously
Chris Chibnall's good at building up backstories very quickly.
Rosa Parks, brilliant.
Not really a side character.
She was like a main, but
yes.
So I think that's really good, and that's still here. Every character you kind of care about, or you kind of all interested in.
Sure.
Well, there's not a character we all like. I don't really care. And then that old lady gets blown up.
Yeah. So basically, the Judoon come down to Earth. They're everywhere. This old lady runs up with the side character of Ruth, who we haven't talked about yet. Ruth is one of the main characters of this episode.
Ruth?
Did we? I was not listening.
She was in the opening, wasn't she? I said she talked to ducks and stuff. She's
yeah. So Ruth is a tour guide, and she's at the cathedral, and suddenly the Judoon attack. So this old lady comes up and is like, "What are you doing? You can't be doing that!" And then she gets scanned, and then her knitting gets vaporized. Then she runs into an invisible wall and gets evaporated.
She gets compensation.
She gets compensating for her weapon, wasn't it? Because apparently the knitting is a weapon. Love Judoon, they're great.
But no, we talk about this again. I don't want to get all technical, but it's supposed to be our main streets. The way the Judoon are shot before they come down to Earth, or they only got the helmets on, if you're a new fan,
that's very. Yeah,
it's really cool.
Really good. And then at the moment you see the Judoon ship,
you can speak better Judoonese than I can.
Yeah, I was gonna say. You see a ship, and you're like, oh, I recognise that from Smith and Jones, Series 3, Episode 1. Oh, lovely. And then suddenly it's on the ship, and there's nothing going on except seeing some like Judoon wearing their helmets, and then suddenly you see the commander, and it's like, 4, and I'm like, oh, yes!
Also,
yes!
Obviously it's 2020, but I've got to say a huge big up to the BBC for how good the animatronic was.
Yes.
When they spoke, it looked like the lip movements were what they were saying, and I think it works well. But then I think we need to put it back away from Gloucester and talk about one of Jodie's best scenes in Who, I think, which is when she's at the start.
And she has to go at the companions.
I think that's range. I think we're seeing a lot.
I actually, you know what? Yesterday when I was rewatching this episode, there are a couple of scenes of Jodie Whittaker that I'm like, wow, very, very well done.
Jodie's like, she's had a Doctor moment for me now. She's there now. And I think it was the same for me in Tennant. I don't think Tennant's that great in Series 2 compared to how great he is in Series 3 and 4.
I think Series 4 is when he slips into caricature. Series 3 is like the golden age of Tennant. Yeah. For me, personally.
I know, I like Martha as a companion. I think she's my favourite of the Tennant era. And Jack.
Female regimen.
She's got to do good stuff now. She had like 6 years of doing nothing. Now she's in shows again. Good stuff. Yeah. But no, I think they're building up the fact that the Doctor's going a bit. Her mind's a bit absent at the minute.
Yes.
And the companions are trying to help
noticing
her.
That, yeah.
And I think it's going to end up with the Doctor forgetting about the companions, or perhaps one of them
getting the old blaster.
We won't spoil anything about casting news or anything because I think that's a bit harsh.
Well, actually, no. We can talk about the news that has happened.
Okay, there's been a bit of news
because there have been rumours that.
It's announced that he's in the show now.
Oh, okay.
It's not rumour. He's definitely been announced for this new American show. The rumour is that Tosin Cole, he's been announced for a new American show. I don't know what it is. It's a CBS show, I believe, and it's a main part.
And he's signed a new contract, so now everyone's assuming that this or the next series will be his last series of Doctor Who.
Yes, I really hope Jodie stays on for 4.
I hope so too.
And
I hope then if she does leave before the 60th, I hope that she comes back for it.
This is her second. Maybe she should just stay until the 60th, and then go pull a Smith. Because I feel really bad for her.
How long was Smith the Doctor? 4 years?
2010 to 2013.
Okay, so like 3. 4 years because it was the end of 2013, beginning of 2010. Mm-hmm.
And Whittaker's been the Doctor since 2018. Really, she got announced in 2017, but first episode 2018.
Okay, so
so she wouldn't make it. She missed out by a year.
Yeah, unless we had another gap year, which no one wants.
No one wants another gap year.
Unless you do it right with the specials on each special occasion, a Valentine's Day Doctor Who special.
Love it. It's the Rose and 10. It's just there.
It's on the parallel universe.
It's Jack on Ibiza 13, but we'll get to that in a bit.
What a night! Actually, that was a month.
But Big Finish are gonna have fun with that.
Yes.
However, for me, I think this is Jodie's best work. Mm-hmm. I think she's comfortable now as the Doctor.
Yes.
I think we need a multi-Doctor story because we haven't had a proper. Well, I mean, the first Doctor with 12 is okay. I wasn't fond of the multi. I wasn't fond of Capaldi's last episode only because it was his regeneration story. I don't like a regeneration story being a multi-Doctor story because it takes the focus off the Doctor. Yeah. It didn't work for me. I would have preferred it if it was like a Tennant Odyssey, kind of where Tennant was by himself. He had Will for them, but if you think about it, Bill wasn't there. She took the first Doctor away. Yeah, Nardole wasn't there. I think I would like Capaldi to have like another Heaven Sent on as well. That's my.
No, I feel like that was just because it was supposed to reflect the fact that now he has nothing, and that's why he doesn't want to. Yeah. To regenerate, he wants to die.
Anyway, tangent. I think Whittaker though.
Yeah, she had a couple of fantastic acting scenes.
She was brilliant. She was had some moments last series.
Yeah, let's talk about... So, Series 11, I had quite a few annoying...
Quirks.
She had quite a few annoying quirks, yeah. So, it would be... there was a lot of talk about the Jodie face, where she'd, like, bare her teeth.
If you had any more tawdry quirks, you could have a
tawdry quirk shop. Yeah, so... There was also the flamboyantness of the screwdriver being pointed.
She still does that.
She still does it, but in a smaller way.
It's not as exaggerated.
It's nice. It's like a nice callback to something that we all remember. And then, but this series...
I suppose... I can't say it yet.
So, this series, the episode with the Doctor and her companion starts off with the Doctor at the TARDIS consoles, and she's looking for something. The companions notice, and they ask her. The conversation then goes on to start talking about Gallifrey, which is always welcome in an episode of Doctor Who, in my opinion.
Because they're not overdoing it either.
No, definitely not.
The structure of the series, and that's already gone a slight tangent, it's been really good because it's not been like a T. Davies series. I love T. Davies as a writer. I think he built up so well.
Good
but
old
it would always annoy me in a series when he would just leave it all to the finale. In this series, we're getting drip fed, and it's not just a word or anything.
It's like a full sentence.
We're getting drip fed stuff,
Yeah.
and then we're having a few episodes gap, and then more. Because some Doctor Who fans would watch the opener, come back for the finale.
Yeah.
If you think about it, what do you miss if you skip out the middle of series 4?
Exactly.
Now, you see Rosen on television like
A couple of times, yeah. But basically, so the conversation continues. It goes on to Gallifrey, and the Doctor says, "That's where I go when you're not here." And then Yaz asks, "Why don't you go there with us?" And she looks at them dead and goes, "Because you ask too many questions." Woo! Yes. We need some sternness, some Tennant sternness.
Also, I like how we were having a go at the way Jodie Whittaker does like a really confused face. Jodie Whittaker's stern face is really good because she's very good at acting with the eyebrows.
Yeah.
She's very good at like looking at them when she's serious because she's quite a bubbly, fun Doctor, and she knows how to get across when she doesn't want to have a conversation with the companions.
But then the second part that made me think, "Whoa, that's really great," is the book ending of the episode where the Doctor is back on the TARDIS with the companions and they're having another conversation.
Yes.
And
it's Ryan, isn't it?
It's Ryan, and she says, "I've lived for thousands of years. How long have you been there? You don't know me at all." And Ryan's like, "Hang on, I ain't having that. I know you pretty well, actually, Doc."
It was Yaz.
I know, but then
why are you talking like Graham, though?
He's like,
"Hang on, Doc."
Yeah. So he says, "I ain't having that. Hang on." So he picks her up on it, and then Jodie Whittaker's face when he's saying like, "I think I know you pretty well, actually. Like, you're the best person we know," and her face is like, "Wow, that's some good acting," because she sort of like, her bottom lip sort of goes a bit, and her eyes start to water, and I'm like, "That's good, that's good, well done."
One thing I put down here is a dark Judoon. They kill a lot of people in this.
Yeah, the Judoon were brutal in this one. The last time we saw the Judoon in anything Doctor Who was the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Where they drove the police
where
car.
he stole a police car and was like, "Can we have the blues and twos?" And he's like, "No."
It was
good.
The good thing for this as well is that it gets, because obviously the Doctor's never been a fan of the Judoon as a authority.
Yeah.
The Doctor's always been like, no, they're just regular. But we didn't really see that in Smith and Jones. They were a bit grumpy.
Yeah,
they may have killed like one bloke.
But and that was because he threw a plant pot on them. So I'd kill a bloke if he threw a plant pot on me, mate.
That's probably out the poor Judoon.
So yeah, but then even in Sarah Jane Adventures, the Judoon, obviously they can't really kill anybody on children's TV. So he was literally just a grumpy Judoon, and like Clyde was trying to hold him back whenever he was about to kill someone, which is fine, which gets the point across. But it was nice seeing some brutal ass Judoon in this one.
No, but while they're in a cafe, Graham's like, "Look at this cake, it's rubbish." And essentially, there's this character called
All Ears Alan.
All Ears Alan, and he's got an issue with the character. I think he's called, is it Lee?
Lee, yeah.
And Lee is Ruth's boyfriend, and Alan wants to be with Ruth. He's the guy that created the dossier.
Basically, yeah. There's a love triangle which comes very apparent earlier on the episode between All Ears Alan, Ruth, and Lee. All Ears Alan thinks that Lee isn't good enough for Ruth, and it's a little bit creepy.
He knows something's going on. He
notices that Lee, Lee says a lot of things that don't really make sense. At one point as well, Lee goes in to visit All Ears Alan and makes the comment, "humans," which immediately makes us think you're not a human,
but
because you're referring to us in the third person, boy.
Is that so as they're in the shop, the Doctor, Ryan, and Yaz run away from the shop, and Graham's like, "Look at this case." He gets teleported somewhere, but where does he go?
Yeah, so he's Graham gets kidnapped by some blue teleport.
However, before that, I want to. This is a point I got down. Although I didn't go into it as much as I wanted to, I'm so happy that Yaz got some police stuff to do.
Yeah, because Yaz is actually a policewoman.
And then the only line I didn't like was, "Hang on, I'm a police officer." We don't have to put that out, love. We should all know that by now.
Should I speak their language? She comes out and it's like, "Full course, you're full." Isn't it? It'd be weird, isn't it? Full course, you're full. How
does the Judoon translator work? Are they still speaking Judoonese?
No, so they assimilate a language. So they record someone of the
I know
native
that
language,
part, and they put it in their
chest, and it goes, "Language assimilated, Earth English.
But
Category human.
But no, this allows a good scene between the Doctor and Ruth and Lee, where she needs to find out why they're after these two, because the Judoon have a gun that will freeze time in that area.
Yeah,
but it will cause a lot of damage.
Radiation and damage whilst it's going on. It's basically a giant nuke.
And for me, I think again, Jodie was just really great this episode. This is another scene where she's like, "Look, my Sonic isn't picking it up, but you know something I don't." Yeah. And then I think it's Ryan or Yaz finds this box. And
yeah, which has something alien in it.
And they're both like, "We have no idea what this is." But then suddenly Lee goes, "Give me the box."
Very sternly, sort of scarily says, "Give me the box."
But Ruth has no idea.
Yeah, Ruth's got no idea.
Ruth has no clue.
Anyway, long story short, Lee goes, "Give me the box, get Ruth out of here." They leave. Yaz and Ryan head off to stop the Judoon from blowing up the tower block, basically. The Judoon storm in, and Lee surrenders, says, "You've got me, I'm the fugitive." And then a woman appears.
I'm trying to think of a name.
It was like
Gat.
Yeah, Gat, or Goat Lady. Gat appears, and she turns out to be the person who's hired the Judoon to capture Lee.
But we find out later. We find out another layer later on.
Yes. Another Gat layer.
Yes. But no.
Gat.
Should we find out where Ryan's gone? No, not Ryan. Did we find out where Graham's going?
So yeah, Graham's on a ship, and then Captain Jack's there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's mental. So I'm sure I just threw everybody out a little bit. Basically, Graham is laid down on a ship.
We said spoilers, so hopefully they have seen
this. Yeah, of course. So Graham is laid down on a ship, and suddenly you hear, "Don't move! Honestly, do not move!" And every Whovian across the globe's looking at each other like, "I recognise that voice, but it can't be. It can't be. He's on Dancing on Ice. It can't be." And then suddenly he goes, "All right, you can come and meet me now.
Get excited.
Get excited. You missed me, didn't you?" And it's John Barrowman.
And he snogs Graham.
And he snogs Graham because he thinks he's the Doctor. And then Graham's like, "Nah, mate, I ain't the Doc." And he's like, "You're honestly not the Doctor." And he's like, "Nah, mate, I'll travel with her." And he's like, "Really? He has to know." And he's like, "It's not a he anymore, it's a she."
No. And then he goes, "But why are you after the Doc? Because we're involved right now." Me and the Doctor go way back. It's just the writing of Jack.
Go way back.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think a lot of what Jack said was improvised.
Me too.
Because it was very much.
I don't want to. I don't want to get too technical again, but just to let you know, the BBC released a video called "Welcome Back, Jack" or "Jack's Back" or something.
John Barrowman is not going to be back for the rest of the series. Maybe next series, but it'll be fun.
However, this episode, like I said earlier, was directed by Nida Manzoor. Yeah. However, in the clip, it's directed by Jamie Stone. Who's directing the last two episodes of, I believe, the New Year's special for next year.
Which means it could be that Jack comes back at the end of the episode, at the end of the series, because that's the other one that the director. That could be a thing.
Rule 1, the Chib lies.
Rule 1, the Chib lies. Who told you that? Exactly. River. Imagine that. River should be back.
I wouldn't mind River.
Ruth is River. Rufer.
But no, it turns out Jack's trying to scoop up the Doctor, but he can't because he's using this alien ship.
He's basically using the alien ship equivalent of an arcade claw machine.
And I love the line where he's like, "I stole this ship," and the Graham's like, "This isn't your ship." He's like, "You think I choose it? It doesn't even have a bar."
Yeah, it doesn't even have a bar.
And then there's mentions of Ibiza 13.
What hell of a night?
Why is there 13 Ibizas in the world? You know, how many Ibizas are there? Who knows? But again, it was really good. But the main plot of Jack's thing in this is that he's trying to scoop at the Doctor. He needs to tell Doctor something, and we'll wrap Jack's storyline up here because it's only about 5 minutes of the episode or more, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, he's trying to scoop at the Doctor to tell her to be aware of the lone Cyberman. And apparently, the Cyber Empire has fallen, but a while ago they sent a Cyberman back in time.
Yeah.
And it's coming for her. However, Jack gets stopped very quickly because. Always the nano genes.
Always the nano genes is a very good line.
They come back to bite him, and he has to go, and he sends the companions back. But we don't see them again until the very end of the episode. They just disappear for 20 minutes, don't they?
Yeah, yes, they do.
Just don't see them again. However, before Lee died, he was sent Ruth a text. We don't see this text until they go into the cathedral.
Yeah.
And the Doctor and Ruth are surrounded by Judoon, and suddenly Ruth kicks some ass. She's the suddenly.
Yeah, so turns out Lee sent her a little text message.
We don't know this at that point of the story.
Yeah, you do.
No,
No,
not until after the June point.
No, you do.
Okay.
She gets the message and she looks down at the phone and the doctor says, "Is that Lee?" And Ruth goes,
"It's nothing."
No, it's not Lee. And then she tears off. She does a bit of poaching. And she tears off a rhino horn, which is a very bad thing to do to a Judoon.
Apparently, it's like
it's like treason. It's horrible.
It's like that's like the one thing you can't.
How would you feel if your horn was torn off?
As a Judoon, I mean,
as a human,
I don't have one, mate. But if I did, but no, the text said, "Follow the light, break the glass."
Yeah.
And we had no idea what this meant at this point. And we're seeing that Ruth has these flashes of a lighthouse, and it's all very weird. And so the Doctor and Ruth go on a road trip to said lighthouse.
Oh yeah, the Doctor.
And turns out the Doctor goes to the grave in which Ruth's parents were buried, but their grave is empty. There's no grave.
It's an empty grave with a weird
shape
coming out of it.
And it turns out there's a blue box.
It's an old 1960s police box.
And as the Doctor's digging this up, we see Ruth break the glass inside of the lighthouse, and it makes the regeneration sound, the Time Lord sound, as it opens.
Yeah.
And you see the light in her eyes. And then as Ruth comes back out again,
and for some reason she's dressed like an orange.
I quite like the costume.
I didn't. No, I thought it was. I don't know. I thought it was a bit over the top.
Bit Colin Baker. Bit Colin.
I like Colin Baker.
Shut up.
No, but anyway, so she comes out and Jodie Whittaker's like, "Hang on, what the hell's that?" And Ruth's like, "Let me start from the beginning. I'm not Ruth. I am the Doctor."
And the Doctor's
but
like,
Jodie Whittaker's like, "Oh no, you're my future." And then she's like, "No, you're my future, Jodie Whittaker." And she's like, "No, I know what I lived through." And then Ruth's
also,
like,
Ruth has no idea what the sonic screwdriver is either.
Yeah, Ruth doesn't know what the sonic screwdriver is. All right. You think it's a different timeline, right?
I think it's a Valiard situation.
And considering the fact that different timelines have been brought up in this series as well on Orphan 55,
and considering the chip has said this is actually the Doctor,
this is actually the Doctor. It's not from a parallel universe.
But again, the chip could be lying to us.
Yes, because the chip likes to lie.
But I one thing I really hope it doesn't go into, and I'll say this now, and it's not because I think this comes from both of us' perspective. It's not because it's women. But I wouldn't like it if they rewrote the history of Who
and said that there was an entire regeneration sequence of women before William Hartnell.
Yeah,
I think retconning the series like that wouldn't make much sense. There's no reason why, if that's the case, there's no reason why Ruth Doctor has a TARDIS that looks like our TARDIS. Also,
her TARDIS is the old 1960s design.
Yeah, exactly. So also, I am really annoyed. This is just a little nitpick about Doctor Who as a whole. Susan Foreman came up with the initials Time and Relative Dimension in Space, TARDIS. The actual TARDISes, or TARDI, they are called TT capsules. Every other Gallifreyan calls them a TT capsule, but for some reason, now in modern Who, every bloody Time Lord goes, "Yep, that's a TARDIS." No, it's not. It's a TT capsule, mate. It's a Type 40 TT capsule. Not a TARDIS. It's made out of the initials.
You're probably going to look at something you're going to go, "This happened in that episode." But Ruth had some weird teleporting tech to get inside the TARDIS.
Yes.
Is that a thing?
I'd assume so. It's happened before, I think.
Not to teleport inside the TARDIS.
Yeah, but the TARDIS can teleport things in and out.
The TARDIS can materialise around them, but I've never seen it. Okay, well, we'll let that slide. But then again, so now, as soon as they're in the TARDIS bickering, the Judoon pick up the TARDIS. They've found Ruth. Yep. It turns out Ruth is actually the fugitive.
Ruth is the fugitive.
But Ruth and one must now have an idea. And she's telling our Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, I'm going to refrain to Ruth as Ruth.
Yes.
So she's telling the Doctor, "Look, let me handle this one. It's fine." Ruth's got this weird gun, which leads me to believe that this is not the same character we know, because the Doctor...
Well, she never fires the gun.
No, but
also she stole it off of Gat.
And it turns out Gat is Gallifreyan.
Gat is a Time Lord.
But they have no idea about Gallifrey. Ruth doesn't, nor does Gat, and Gat hasn't been...
And as we know, the Eye of Harmony prevents such things from happening. So all the Time Lords are sort of in continuous space with, or continuous time with Gallifrey. So no matter where in time they are, there's no way of going back in time on Gallifrey.
And I think that's interesting. But also, we find out that Gat hasn't contracted this. Well, she has
She's not the person who necessarily contracted the Judoon.
Oh no, she is, but she was told by a higher power.
Rassilon or Omega, I reckon.
Omega.
Omega.
I think that's another interesting.
Jane.
It's another interesting thing. I think again this built up a lot.
Yes.
It needs to really pull it off. And that's at the end of the episode. Essentially, Gat takes the gun from Ruth's doctor, and she fires it. But it turns out Ruth's done some meddling with it, so it would backfire. So essentially, Ruth's doctor. I don't think Gat's dead. I don't think Lee's dead. I don't think Gat's dead. I don't think they're dead.
I definitely think that Lee is dead. I think that
Gat will come back.
I think Gat will most likely come back. But I think Lee is dead. I think he was.
Well, the actor on Twitter's been teasing.
Really?
Someone said, "I'm so sad you died," and he said, "Did I?"
I think Lee was this version's Martha.
And guess who liked it?
Chibnall
and BBC Doctor Who. So we could be seeing Lee again. But
I don't care. He's a bit of an odd character. I prefer to see Big Ears Alan or All Ears Alan.
What do you think of the ending, though? I mean, it was quite quick, but
this episode was mental.
They outsmarted the Judoon in a way that made sense.
Yes.
They essentially where the Judoon were flying, they had no jurisdiction, so there was no law, and
there's no crime in interstellar space.
And it's supposed to make sense.
Yeah, it does.
And the fact because the Judoon were going to take in Ruth's doctor for murdering Gat. And they were like, right, you need to come with us.
Actually, your ship entered interstellar space 12 seconds ago. And there's no laws in interstellar space, isn't that right? Right!
So the last moments of this episode, though, is Ruth saying, I'd like you to leave now.
Yes, Ruth is very angry, and this version of the Doctor
she's very confused.
doesn't necessarily... I don't think she cares about finding out who Jodie Whittaker is as much as Jodie Whittaker cares about finding out who Ruth is. I don't know the actress who plays Ruth. What's her name?
We'll get onto it in a bit.
My finger is stuck.
But and then we end the episode off with the companions finding the Doctor and saying about
it's like the Doctor looks like she's doing the walk of sorrow from like a one night stand where she's sort of like in the same clothes as yesterday. Her hair's a bit messy. Like, that sort of thing.
And our mates from the night out go, where the hell have you been?
Where have you been? And she's like, and then the next scene is her sat on the steps in the TARDIS looking all shameful.
Alternate timeline
where the Doctor's a ruddy alcoholic.
I feel like that's Moffat now.
Yeah.
He's watching the series.
Do you know what would be good if the Doctor was an alcoholic?
It was like, no. And then what I remember was, he was loving it last series, it was shit. And he was like, they'll want me back. And now this series, he's pulled out the wine and he's sad. And everyone's loving it. And he's like... Good old Moff. Everyone loves the Moff, I think.
Everybody loves the Moff now.
You've
not necessarily 3 years ago.
You've got to love the Moff. But then we get the thing... so they tell the Doctor about the Cyberman.
Yes.
And...
Did we even mention that?
The lone Cyberman. Yeah, we did. We said that Jack. I said that Jack said that.
Again, I wasn't listening.
I think that you were on your phone at the time. But so now we have what do we have set up? There it is. We have Gallifrey. We have Gat. We have Ruth Doctor.
We have the Master.
The Master. We have the lone Cyberman. And Jack's coming back.
It all has to link together, I think.
For the 60th anniversary.
We have separate theories. I don't think it's going to be for the 60th. I think it's going to be a series ender.
One of these is.
It's going to be a series ender.
So you're saying none of these things are?
I think they're all linked together. I think they're all the same thing. Maybe one of them will stretch out, but will be intertwined with this. I think that right. So my theory is, and I don't want to hear you interrupt by going, I strongly disagree. Don't want to hear any of that. I want to say my theory because I think it's quite good. Right. So the Time Lords, we know the Time Lords can resurrect other Time Lords if they feel the need to. For example, the Master, the Doctor getting more regenerations, that sort of thing. I think that the Time Lords can resurrect or split off regenerations to create other versions of existing Time Lords, and I think Ruth's Doctor was actually a Doctor created by the Time Lords to continue fighting for them in some sort of battle, that sort of thing, and the Time Lords didn't want her to escape. Which is why when she does escape in her own TARDIS, the Time Lords have sent the Judoon to go and find her because they need to find her before the real Doctor, finds her and figures out what's going on Gallifrey. And that's what the Master was saying. That's what he said when he said that he didn't like what he saw, so he burnt it down.
So you believe that?
I think either this is a separate timeline.
So you think that Sacha Dhawan's Master has run into Ruth before? Before she became Ruth somehow.
I think that he is our Master, but
he's realised
has seen what the Time Lords are doing by creating almost duplicates of existing Time Lords without their knowing, and that's why he burnt down Gallifrey, and that's why nothing that the Doctor knows is real, or everything the Doctor, whatever he said,
everything you know,
is a lie. Because I think that this is not the first time that this has happened, and I think that might be where Chibnall's taking it.
Do you know what? I think you might be right. After watching this, the only thing I can think is I think it's either that, what George said, or it's the Balliard situation.
Yeah, with like an alternate timeline.
And somehow, as she said, time is swirling around me.
Unless Ruth is actually the Balliard. Oh! Right, maybe Ruth is actually the Balliard, but a couple of regenerations back, and that the Balliard has always been a different entity to the Doctor, but taken on the same name, and that it is actually a different timeline. It's just that one regeneration happened in a different way. One ended up as William Hartnell, one ended up as Ruth. That's why Ruth isn't afraid of using the guns. That's why she doesn't know what the screwdriver is. It's because that's when it split off.
Yes. Okay, I'm with you.
That could be it.
And I think that's when we got to leave it for this week.
Yeah, because it's just getting over an hour now.
So, I mean, let's quickly go through the characters, because there's a lot to go through.
Yes.
So first of all, I think I know obviously in terms of acting wise he doesn't do a lot, but we got to give kudos to Nick Briggs as the voice of Judoon. I think every time he voices some kind of enemy, the Daleks, Cyberman,
he's awesome.
Judoon, he's always amazing. What did you think about Marcia, who was the old lady that got blown up?
I genuinely thought that she was the
Judith
same.
Street.
I honestly thought that she was the same actress who played Vilma. For a little bit, I was like, "Is that Vilma?" But obviously, it wasn't. Better than Vilma. She lasted not as long as Vilma.
Yes.
She was very funny.
Unfortunately, because she was actually pretty alright. I thought she was good old Judith Street. What about All Ears Alan, Michael Bigley?
All Ears Alan was one of the best characters in this
I
episode.
really do.
He was very good.
He was a bit of a...
I loved the fact that he was very upfront with Lee about him not liking him.
It was a bit of a
and he'd made what was it called?
The dossier.
The dossier. He made a dossier about Lee and everything that he said and everything that doesn't quite add up. And when the Judoon come a knocking, he basically goes, "Oh, you're looking for a fugitive? He just left. His name's Lee. There's a very extensive dossier on the table over there if you want to have a look." Very, very good character. It's a shame the Judoon kill him.
Yes. What about Gat? I think there's more to Gat than
I think there's more to Gat. I think...
But the actor, Rita Araya, did a good job. I think
yes.
She was always peed off, and I think...
Yeah.
But I think she's as confused as Ruth Doctor is at the minute. And I think that those characters want to find out answers, and so does the Doctor. But
yeah, of course.
As the Doctor said, time is running around me. What about Lee Clayton, Neil Sook?
So Lee, I don't know. I feel like he was just there as a filler character.
Yeah, why was Lee protecting the Doctor?
Because he was the Doctor's master. He was the Doctor's Martha. You know, in Human Nature, when the Doctor has enough space to include Martha in his new human life, so he makes him someone who he makes her someone who's going to always be there. Mm-hmm. He makes her his servant, basically, his maid. But Ruth obviously went, "Okay, you're going to be my husband, and you're going to have to look after me, and once this happens, send me this."
But they were clearly in love as well.
Yes, of course. So I'm thinking a mixture of Rose and Martha.
Yes.
I also... Right, can we talk about some of the sort of things that led up to Ruth being the Doctor that we only noticed on the second watch?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
So, first things first, the first shot we see is of a watch, a timepiece, and obviously Time Lord connotations there. Then, Ruth's looking in a mirror. The mirror is the shape of a hexagon, similar to the round things in the TARDIS console room. So the next thing that I really noticed was also she speaks to animals.
Yes.
And she gives a swan a name, but like knows the swan and like recognizes it, similar to like the Doctor speaking to cats or something like that. also, when Gat kills Lee, she says, "Faithful companion," as she kills him. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
So that sort of like gives
really
it
good
away.
Foreshadowing. Right now, we got the last kind of. I mean, it was my favorite part of the episode personally. But he was our last kind of non-top player in this one. Captain Joe Hartness, John Barrowman. From when he was there
to when he left.
He's back. He's on fire.
He was back.
He's on fire.
He's
and
great.
I showed you that video on Instagram and like breaking down.
He's a brilliant bloke. He was on 2 channels at once.
He loves.
That's how amazing
you can tell he loves the show.
He loves it. He absolutely
loves it. He loves the fans. I remember I saw a video on Twitter by Dr. Who Poop about it was him from series 3 going into the current vortex, and he said he saw that and he loves it.
Yeah.
I think and I think that's one thing we don't get these days. Especially, it's kind of strange in the world of social media. We never get actors or writers saying how much they love it. They say it in like on television when they have to, and it's all the PR stuff. But you never get like a personal video where. No. I think that's important. But no, when he was there, I thought he was on fire. He's back. And I can't wait to see him again in Series 13.
No, neither can I.
Which we will see him again in Series 13.
We will see him.
We
will not see him again this series.
The response was so good if they don't bring him back.
It was so good, and it's a wasted potential if he comes back for a single like scene and he doesn't even see the Doctor. Yes. That's like bringing River back, but for like 5 seconds.
Yes.
And it being like, oh, that's a very big character that they brought back for no reason.
Okay, Ruth Clayton, played by Joe Martin. On the first watch, my brain was too
blown.
Yeah, kind of like see how good her nuances are as the Doctor. I thought this isn't the Doctor, but then on second watch, because we both watched this twice.
Yes,
I thought she was cracking.
She was very good.
I thought she was really good.
For what she was given, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously she wasn't the Doctor for very long. In retrospect.
No,
it was like maybe 10 minutes.
Yes.
At a push.
Yeah.
For me, I thought that was but when she was there, she was really, really good. Yeah. And we're gonna see her again in this series. I would be shocked.
Series finale it will be.
Yeah, I would be. I think we might see like in episode 9, unless the series finale is 2 parts.
Also, can I point out, Ruth, if in fact is the Doctor, first Black Doctor.
Yeah, anyway, either way, it's still monumental. Congratulations to
of course.
Joe Martin, and I think she's loving it. On our Twitter banner is literally introducing Joe Martin as the Doctor, which I think is someone who's so proud to be a part of the show.
Of course,
it's so nice to see. Anyway, I think this is going to be quick for us. Let's get through the companions. So Ryan Sinclair, Tosin Cole had nothing to do. Like he's the only one that did virtually nothing. Yeah, he had a bit of a joke with
John Barrowman,
Captain Jack.
Yeah,
but like apart from that, didn't contribute much. Oh, he had the bit at the end. He had the bit. He had that really good speech at the end.
Well, that was pretty much all he had to do.
And which
is quite a nice change because that meant Yaz had stuff to do.
Did she though?
She did quite a bit.
She was like, "I'll do a police officer bit," and then got teleported and did nothing. Did she even say a line in the spaceship?
Yeah.
To Barrowman, because I remember he said Silver Fox said you, not you, so.
There's finger guns, isn't it?
And then Graham's like, have you got a receipt for that?
Have you got a receipt for that, Scoop? You're kidding me? There were 3 of you? I think I had a dream like this once. John.
But no, I thought Mandip Gill did what she had.
Yeah.
What about Graham O'Brien, Bradley Walsh? Always a delight, and I think this week he wasn't just a one-line machine. I thought his interactions with Jack at the start were the best parts of the episode for me.
Indeed.
And I think, for me, Jodie Whittaker, we kind of already touched on her, I think, every week, strength to strength. So it's like really like.
I honestly cannot remember the Doctor's theme tune from this series. It's not very memorable. I'll be honest. Since Murray Gold's left, the music's been a bit meh.
I thought last series was brilliant.
I really
like Jodie's theme. Have you not listened to Jodie's theme on Spotify?
No.
It's so beautiful.
I haven't gone much on the new guy.
Segan Akinola.
Segan Akinola. I don't know his name.
Akinola.
Akinola. Eggarola.
Segan Akinola.
Stephen Akinola. It sounds like a Legend of Zelda boss.
Segan,
not Stephen.
Akinola. Yeah.
Segan granola.
Sorry, Segan.
Yeah, no offense, buddy.
I really like your work, actually, Segan. I prefer you to Murray Gold.
Really?
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
I think Murray Gold towards the end got a bit crap.
Really?
Same stuff all over again, wasn't it?
I need it.
Alright, anything from I Am the Doctor afterwards, can you remember anything that he did? And that was halfway through his reign. Bear that in mind.
I can remember Amy's.
Okay, Series 5 afterwards. That's my point. Nothing. Because the long song wasn't technically his.
No, right, yeah, I suppose. That's a point, actually, to be fair.
And I'm just worried that Segan is going back into this realm of just reusing the same old tosh. Anyway, let's get into a number ranking. I'll let you go first. What are you giving this 1 out of 10?
Oh, what am I giving out of 10?
I don't want to whisper to the mic, don't I?
I'd give it an 8.3.
Oh, you're one of the annoying buckets.
Yeah, I'm going 8.3.
I'm going 9.
Okay.
I think it will go down heavily if the series is a massive disappointment.
Depends on what Chibnall decides to do with this new Doctor.
This is setup. Mm-hmm. And if the setup doesn't pay off...
If the setup is the setup for something that we don't want it to be, and that's going to ruin the show... Basically, Doctor Who for the last couple of years has been on very thin ice. And
apart from that one episode that was called Thin Ice.
There's no point in hiding it. It's been very rickety at the moment. This series so far
has been back
to form. Very, very good. Mm-hmm. Very enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Need to get more people watching it. Spread the word that this series of Doctor Who is genuinely good. Just see how many people we can get watching it, because honestly, this show, we don't need another 16-year break.
No, and I think, especially in the modern... I think now, with the way that the streaming works and stuff, I mean, they won't cancel Doctor Who anyway for at least a good 5-6 years, because although we've got the viewing figures for the UK, you've got to remember Doctor Who's worldwide now.
I'm still waiting for, I want them to make some sort of series for BritBox, something like that.
A spin-off?
Like a spin-off.
BritBox exclusive.
But, like, a series of Paul McGann's Doctor.
I think that's past the boat now.
No, I think it would be really
great.
Or take some Big Finish and animate them.
Yeah,
that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But no, I'm going to
give all the Foley there already.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a 9. You give it 8.3.
Yes, I do.
So overall, I think this ranks.
We're done here. I'm joking.
I think overall, this ranks up with Spyfall for me. I think so far 4 episodes out of 5 have been absolute crackers. There's not been more than that I've gone. It's okay, because Orphan 55. It's like it is on a base level. It's okay, but it aggravated me.
Okay.
But next week I believe we got the episode called Praxeus, written by Peter McTeague,
and it looks creepy.
And he obviously did Kablam last year, which we were both big fans of. I think that's why episode.
Bring back
Lee Mack.
French coat.
Who?
French coat.
Who?
Lee Mack.
Oh, is he French coat?
Lee Mack literally means coat in French.
Oh. Okay. I never studied French.
Le Mac.
No idea.
Mac.
Anyway, guys, that was no.
No, you better not edit this bit out.
We were making a point as well.
Yeah, go on.
This is the first time in a while that we've been except for Doctor Who week to week, and we've been talking about what could next week's be. It wasn't like, oh, we got that one episode this weekend, didn't we, with the weird sand people in your eyes and stuff, you know.
Oh, Sleep No More.
Oh. Do you know what? They knew it was a bad one because they put it on at the same time as the Doctor Who festival. So they knew no one would be watching, and they were like, put this one out, bang it out.
It's such a bad episode.
It's dreadful. I can't wait to get to that one on the podcast. Sandman. Bring me a dream.
Bum 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 bum. Should we start with after this series?
Yes.
Are we going to start with series 1?
No, I think we're just going to mix it up.
Yeah?
I don't want to do a marathon.
Yeah. Okay,
we'll mix
cool.
it up.
Just like
put some names in a hat, pull them out in the week or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Get a randomizer.
Yeah.
And then we can do a watch along.
Yes, we can. But for now, that's us done for this week. We'll be back next Friday with our review of, I believe, the episode's called Praxeus. George, have you got anything else to say this week regarding Who and what you're looking forward to next week? It looks like a bit of a horror for me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Doctor Who.
Also, have you seen The Next Time to Learn? Did you?
Yes.
Because that beach looks very familiar.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're gonna. I'm not saying
it. I doubt it's Dalek or Strandon, but it's probably the same filming location.
It's definitely Dalek and Strandon, but not in the Whoniverse.
It's definitely the same filming location that they filmed Dinosaurs in a Spaceship, all of that good stuff.
And it's been Doomsday.
Yeah, it was Doomsday
and Journey's End.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, guys, that is us done for the Timeless Podcast. We'll be back next week with our review of Praxeus along with some other news and stuff. Man. Until then, though, you can subscribe to us on Spotify. You can give us a review as well. That would help us out a lot. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening.
Next week, we should have a little bit more of a structure as well.
Yes, and you should be able to hear us both more clearly because we won't be in the same room.
And we'll have separate mics.
Yeah.
Next week we'll have a bit more of a structure. This was obviously our first episode, so we didn't really know what we were doing, but it will get better, I promise.
The plan that we've talked about so far is when Doctor Who's not on the air, doing 2 Who episodes a week. 2 Who episodes a month, and then doing 2 non-Who episodes a month.
Obviously, we've got plans for other ones whilst this series on. For example, like the new Sonic the Hedgehog film is going to be an episode.
No, it's not.
It will be an episode.
We'd have to go see it with you.
Yes.
I don't want to see this movie.
It's going to be funny.
This is why I actually end up liking it, but I won't. It's going to be bad.
So, yeah, we're going to do a Sonic the Hedgehog episode. We're also going to be... Just be aware that this podcast isn't just going to be based on Doctor Who stuff.
I assume in almost every episode there'll be a Doctor Who element of some form. Any Series 13 news.
Any big news, we'll talk about it. Not necessarily every single week, though.
I mean, you never know with the chip. Everything's coming out.
The chip who stole Christmas. Anyhow.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening to the first episode. We'll work out the structure going forward and we'll see what we want to do. But until then, we will be back next week with our review of Praxis, written by Pete McTeague.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you guys later. Have a good time. And
Jumanji.